Hey, I'm Tony Cade of Challenges Games and Comics, and you need to be watching Blerdography. Hi, I'm Tony Cade, and I'm the owner of Challenges Games and Comics.
Yeah, because I just need like a quick blurb that I can put at the beginning, then my intro, then we're just going to jump into the interview. What's going on, everybody? It's me, Mark. Welcome back to another episode of Blerdkast, and I am yet again joined by the amazing Tony Cade. How are you doing?
How you guys doing? How you doing?
No comment.
No comment?
Snow day in Atlanta. That's all I'm going to say. Snow day in Atlanta.
Hey, I had days off which weren't Christmas, Thanksgiving, and Easter. So I enjoyed the time I took off.
Okay. Well, you wasn't in my situation, but I hate snow now. It's a long story. It has nothing to do with this.
So we never had to worry about you moving up north then?
Oh, no, never.
Okay,
Never. I'm used to snow once every 10 years, and I'm happy with that.
Okay, sounds good.
But we are here at Challenges Games and Comics. We're going to talk about a really, really interesting event you have coming up that people have been literally demanding you to bring it back. We are here to talk about the Atlanta Sci-fi and Fantasy Expo. So why don't you tell us about it? Why bring it back after the long hiatus?
Well, it felt kind of incomplete. You know, I had got to the point and stuff where, you know, I'd done a show and didn't really have an interest in doing the show after the last one got canceled by the COVID pandemic, because basically it was set up for the middle of March, and basically COVID shut everything down at the beginning of March.
Right.
And we like, oh, well, this won't last long, and we'll try to reschedule it for like November or December. And we all know how that wound up. There was no rescheduling.
Right.
And then about time the pandemic was at its end, we were already in the process of having to move from our previous location over at Northlake Mall. And all of my resources went into moving the store over here to Northlake Mall on the outskirts of Tucker, right here in Atlanta, right outside of 285.
Right.
And so I've been in this location now for like a year and a half.
And it's a really nice location. You've been here for a while, and you've hosted a ton of events. You've saved some events from when they weren't able to happen, and like your business is booming. So I do understand like the need for the Fantasy Expo and why everybody wants to come back, because it did feel a little incomplete. I remember going to a couple of them back when we were at Northlake Mall, and it was nice. It was really nice.
Like I said, we had like over 50 some vendors, you know, 1,000 people and stuff showed up.
Right.
The very first show we did, I had the vendors coming to me like, can we do another one in 6 months? And I was like, oh no.
6 months?
Yeah, they wanted one in 6 months. Well, they did so well. Okay. And I'm like, no, you guys have no idea the work and effort that it takes to do a show like this.
Right.
And so that's when you know, I was pretty much prepared to be one and done.
Right.
But then my staff was like, oh man, I can't wait to see what we do next year. And I was like, next year?
You're okay.
You know, and they were like, yeah, we got to do another one next year. And I was like, okay. And so, like I said, you know, we did, 4 more shows, and we were doing good until
pandemic
COVID hit.
Right.
And then the mall that I was in no longer even exists anymore.
No comments. Northlake Mall, my old stomping grounds. But
oh man, I used to hang out there in the 80s.
Yeah. Oh my God. Good old.
You know, I used to hang out there before a lot of y'all were even born. The arcade and the restaurants, movie theater, it was fun times.
Yeah, it was fun times. It was. But you brought up something very interesting. You said a lot of people don't know what it takes to run a convention like this. So let's talk about that. What does it take to run a convention as like out of your own pocket, in your own business space, going to go get guests and finding vendors and finding people to help run the convention, and it's a lot of volunteer work. What is the process like of starting and running a convention?
That's very complicated. That's a lot of moving parts. You basically, we had run the previous conventions with, I think, of a staff of really 5 people. The beginning events and stuff, I depended a lot on my buddy Tanya Woods. She helped a lot and stuff with, the organizational stuff of the beginning cons. And later on and stuff, I had other friends and stuff like Renee Cooper come in and help. People and stuff that are entrenched in the community.
Right.
People and stuff that
Right.
Plus, I had, my staff that was working with me. And then, Mike Hennigan was very important and stuff too.
Okay.
Unfortunately and stuff, he is going to be able to help with, this convention and stuff because he's got health issues going on. But, I've, pretty much, just reached out, the people, asking for help. And, we're trying to get this thing together and get it done. At this point and stuff, we're 2 months away.
Yeah, we're 2 months away. It's getting crunch time because I'm feeling the pressure myself because obviously I'm coming there to cover the convention as press. But I from covering a lot of different conventions, from small ones to large ones, I understand the pressure and the anxiety you must just feel of it approaching. It's going to be successful regardless. I know a lot of the people.
I'm glad you're so confident.
I mean, but seriously, I know a lot of the people that are helping you. I'm secretly sending you people hey, they want to do a panel. And I'm just throwing them your way. I know, like you said, Walter Dean said he's been interested. In the past, you've had Dana Morgan, you've had Renee Cooper. I know she's big in the con scene. You've had some really big names in the Black nerd space come out and support you, and the community is amazing. Our community is amazing. So I am really grateful that you are bringing this back. With that said, let's talk about some of the things we can expect to see this year at Fantasy Expo.
Well, it's pretty much the same thing instead that we did in the previous shows and that you would get from bigger shows in the area. Of course, we're going to have our vendors alley. And, the last few years and stuff, we've had 50 plus vendors. So hopefully, we'll have, that many again this year. We've got the space for it.
Okay.
You can go to our website at the Atlanta Sci-Fi Fantasy Expo.com and go ahead and stuff and pull down for vending and go ahead and put in your subscriptions, to be a vendor for the show. Also, we plan on having panels.
Okay.
And the past and stuff, we've had 60 hours worth of programming.
Really?
Right. And this year, we're kind of being ambitious. All right. Besides the fact and stuff that we're going to be doing a cosplay fashion showcase. We have gone out, and right across the street is the Doubletree Hilton. And I have booked the ballroom.
Really?
Yes, for us to have our very first cosplay ball. Okay, and that is the scariest thing because it's something that we have never done before. But we wanted to try, to add a little something to the show for this year.
Right.
For the community.
Right.
Previously and stuff, the show, like I said, will still be free to the public.
Okay.
As always. And most of the expenses and stuff for the show are being covered by the vendor tables.
Okay.
And our vendor table is only $125 for both days.
Okay.
And one of the cool things we're doing and stuff too is that if you vend at our show, you're actually going to get to go to the cosplay ball for free.
Okay.
All right.
That sounds like a good deal.
Yeah. So we get added benefits and stuff, for our vendors. Because like I said, we had to cancel, the show during the pandemic. And it wasn't anything under my control. It was okay, it's a worldwide pandemic.
Right.
It wasn't we mismanaged anything or, we couldn't keep our promises. But it was basically I just said, something's will,
right?
Shut us down,
right?
And we didn't really have a choice. So we're trying to see what we can do to give a little bit back, to the community.
Okay.
Which we actually feel that doing the show is giving back to the community.
No, I agree.
But I kind of felt and stuff that I kind of owed, our vendors. So what can I do for them? What extra can we do for them? But still be able to afford to do a show.
Right.
Because it's one of those situations that we still have to go out there. And, of course, we had to get a space to hold that. Then I still got to get all the tables and chairs.
Right.
And any audio and visual equipment we need.
Right.
To be able to do the show. Plus, we have we got the panel rooms. So I got to get all the tables and chairs for the panel rooms. all this stuff costs money.
Right.
Plus, right now, one of the main things and stuff that I heard from other shows and stuff, people are always like, well, I would have went to this show, but I didn't hear about it. So we're having to like put money to the side to make sure we can afford to do all the advertising media blast,
right,
and surf the algorithms, to make sure that everyone knows about the show.
Right.
So right now and stuff, we want to make sure that everyone knows about the show so they can come to the show.
Right. Okay, cool. So I got it in front of me. Let's talk about the panels. You said you have a lot of panels. What are some of the panels that you are going to be hosting that we can talk about that are already confirmed at this point?
That is still up in the air. We have had people turning in their requests to do panels. All right, and that's one of the things and stuff. Tanya Woods has been in charge of our panels for all the shows. And she's basically the curator. Okay. And so she goes down, looks at everybody's request, and then it's like, well, maybe these guys could be combined. Let me get these people in touch with each other so they can start talking. Right. So that's what we're kind of like working on now. We're actually taking in subscriptions, to do panels. Okay, and when is the deadline of you cutting off for panel requests? Basically a month from now. A month from now? Yeah. Okay, February 15th, gotcha, because then the con is March 15th, that makes sense. Right, and so the thing about it is and stuff is that, one of the things and stuff with the show, we basically have to have everything secured a month before the show. Right, that makes sense, so that way you can start doing the scheduling and everything like that. Right, and so basically about Valentine's Day, everybody will know exactly what's going to be going on with the show. Right. Well, so since you're still... One of the cool things, though, about it, though, is that unless something falls through, we're actually going to be working with Emory University. Oh, really? They've got a science and art museum exhibit here inside the mall. And we're going to be having a lot of our STEAM programming over there. Okay. Like I said, unless something goes wrong, that's, the verbal commitment and stuff that's, been made. Right. And right now and stuff, we have like different tracks. We're doing STEAM. Mm-hmm. All right. We're doing an author's track. Okay. We're doing a comics track. Obviously, you got to have a comics track. Right. We've got our cosplay events. Mm-hmm. And did I say comics already? Yeah. Okay. This was one of my, let's see, comics, authors, STEAM, cosplay, TV and movies. Sounds like sounds good, actually. Right, and then like I said, we've also got people and stuff besides panels. They've also put in to do workshops. Okay. And so we're gonna have like some workshops and stuff going on, like cosplay crafting and things like that. Yeah. Okay. And like I said, a lot of that and stuff will be crossing over some of the STEAM stuff too. Okay. A lot of it is going to deal with, electronics and lights and, manufacturing of parts. Yeah, that's such a good idea because a lot of cosplayers do like craft their own cosplays, and I've seen people soldering stuff together and all this and that. And there's not a lot of content out there online about like making cosplay and things like that. So you providing a panel track, or I mean not a panel track, but a workshop, that's going to be really good for the community because cosplay has exploded into this whole other thing. And since we're on the subject of cosplay, let's talk about the cosplay and the cosplayers and what they can expect when they attend your convention. Outside of the cosplay ball, what other are they going to be like cosplay photo shoots? Oh yeah, photo shoots is something we like regularly do. Okay. There'll be like areas set aside and stuff to do the cosplay shoots. Mm-hmm. Here inside the mall, we've got this nice little staircase. All right, that is like the staircases you would have like at the Hilton. Okay. Except it's indoors. Okay. Okay. And it's got this nice wooden background. Okay. So, we'll be able to set it up and stuff that when we aren't doing our fashion show, all through the day, we'll be able to do themed photo shoots. Okay. Right there on the staircases and stuff. Okay. Which will hold like, easily, I guess, like 50 or plus people. Okay. We'll be able to do some really nice shoots from it. Okay. I definitely want to do photo shoot there. Whatever the biggest cosplay shoot is, I call dibs. I know you probably got a bunch of people in place. And that's the thing about stuff too. If you have an idea for a cosplay shoot, go to the website, go under panels, and submit it. That's the main thing. For us and stuff, this whole thing is about community. Right. And, we want to also have it and stuff that people, let's be honest, a lot of people can't afford to go to Dragon Con. they can't afford even to go to MomoCon.
Tell me about it.
Okay. And then even when you volunteer for those shows, you work so many hours, you don't get a chance to enjoy the shows.
Right.
All right. So the whole purpose of the expo is to do something that's, not cost prohibitive, but it'll still give you a taste of going to a big con. And then with our panels and workshops, it still gives you a chance to learn,
right,
from different people.
Right. So was that your biggest determination in having free admissions, is that you just wanted to provide a nerdy service to the community and give them something, an experience that some people might not otherwise have? Because the other conventions have come and gone, and they've tried to get the community in, they try to discount tickets and just get as many people in, but you can't beat free. And I know conventions make their money off the ticket sales. For the fact that you are running convention and not taking money at the doors sounds insane, but there's a logic to your madness.
Well, part of that and stuff is that, luckily, I'm able to work out deals with the malls. I'm already paying them rent.
Right.
Okay. And then I'm basically like, hey, I can bring people to the mall.
Right.
All right. So the malls help me, do it and stuff, because I don't have to go out there and pay for a convention center.
Right.
And I don't have to pay for a hotel. All right. So this year, I do have to pay for a hotel. Because, like I said, we're going to be at the Doubletree Hilton over here at Northlake for the cosplay ball. And unfortunately, the cosplay ball isn't free.
I'm glad we got there, because I was going to get there. So what is the cost of entry to the cosplay ball?
Well, it's still something we're working on right now. But the entry for the cosplay ball, I think we're going to be able to do like general admission. It's going to be right around $30.
That seems fair.
Yeah, and like I said, we're not doing it to make money. I'm just trying to do it to cover costs.
Right.
Okay.
No, and that makes sense. That's fair, because you're facilitating so many other things. So like, I wouldn't mind, I would love to pay $30 to just get drunk and be in cosplay and just dance. Like, come on, you know how we do.
I mean, like I said, I'll be straight up honest. I'm one of those people that's all upfront about everything.
Right.
Just to do the ball, okay, that's going to be like $6,000+.
Right.
Okay, so I ain't got it like that.
Right.
I've never owned a pair of Jordans, and I'm driving a 1996 Toyota Tacoma. Okay, so I don't have deep pockets like that.
Right.
All right, so I can't do that out of my pocket. So it's like I need the community to be like, hey, we're offering it to you. When we get the links up, please, come and support and get your tickets.
Right.
Because like I said, and then there'll be like VIP that's gonna have like all this fancy food and all this other kind of stuff going on, and there'll be a bar. And right now and stuff, we're actually having a bit of a competition for, who's going to DJ it. We've got people and stuff that are sending in, their videos to make sure that we have a nice, good nerdy, playlist for everybody.
Okay.
So that everybody can get out there and, shake the booty.
I am looking forward to that. Stephanie already texted me this morning. It's like, I need you at 6 p.m. on Saturday. I need you for the cosplay ball, so I'm going to definitely be there regardless. That's going to be so much fun. So you mentioned food. You mentioned the bar. That's going to be fun. Are you doing like food trucks and plus in combination with the food court at the mall, or how are you handling the food situation?
Well, that's something that I've actually got a meeting next week with the general manager of the mall because we've actually been approached by a couple of restaurants that want to actually come and set up inside the mall.
Really?
And provide food.
Okay.
And drink.
Okay.
Okay. And so we need to check and see what the mall is going to require for that to happen.
Okay.
But like we've, besides the food places that are here, which isn't a lot, but like I said, the people and stuff have learned when we did our second show at Northlake Mall.
Right.
The food court vendors actually ran out of food. We had so many people.
Okay.
All right. So
that's a
vendors
good problem.
Here know what to do.
Right.
But we've got a Dugan's bar.
Okay.
Right up here in the front of the mall. Okay. And they've got like some incredible deals.
Okay.
And they're talking about even doing some specialty drinks and stuff just for the show. And then we've got, an American Deli, which everybody is familiar with American Deli.
Right.
All right. And then we've got like a Tokyo Express, which has like incredible deals where you get like 2 meat and the vegetables or 2 vegetables and the meat in a big container for like $10.
That sounds fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So the food and stuff here will be like extremely affordable.
Okay.
So it won't be one of those things and stuff where you're paying like, $10 for a hot dog.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, some cons should listen to what we just said. Some recent cons that were winterized need to listen to that suggestion right there. Nobody wants a $10 hot dog.
but here's the thing about it, though. You know, I gotta be in the defense of people and stuff. When, like I said, us doing the ball at a hotel,
Right.
hotels have requirements.
I understand. Yes, that's
Okay?
understandable.
And they're trying to make their money.
Right.
And actually, let me warn everybody. Whenever you talk to a hotel and they give you a price for something, listen for them to say the word plus plus at the end of it. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So if somebody gives you a quote of like, oh, it's just going to be $1,500 plus plus. All right. In your head, you're thinking, oh, well, it's just going to be $1,500. I can come up with that.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. All right, that first plus is going to be taxes.
Right.
Okay, so you got to add your taxes to that $1,500.
Right.
Which is depending on where you are. I just rounded up to 10%.
Okay.
All right, and then there's that second plus.
Service fees.
Yes, the service fees or the gratuity fees, which could be as much as 25%. All right, so whenever you're negotiating something, listen for those plus to come out their mouth, because all of a sudden that 1,500 ain't 1,500 no more.
Right.
Or they'll be like, oh, well, it'll be 1,500 plus, plus food.
Right.
Okay. Now, as soon as they say the plus food, it's how much money are we talking food? All right, and then you find out that, well, it's like $3,000 for food, plus.
More pluses.
Plus.
Okay.
So, whenever you're dealing with hotels, trying to do a convention, make sure you listen for those pluses.
Right.
All right. Or they have it and stuff where, they'll have it where, well, you can have the space for your convention. All right. But you got to sell this many rooms.
I've heard that before from Ranger Stop and Pop, actually.
Right. And so people don't realize and stuff, it's like, they'll be like, oh, well, this hotel over here is in walking distance to the hotel there. So instead of getting a room at the major hotel, I'll get a room at this hotel over here to save me some money.
Right.
Okay. When you do that, you're technically hurting the show, because if they don't cover the rooms, they have to then pay for the space that they're originally hoping to get for free.
Yeah, I learned that with the Urban Nerd Con and Ranger Stop and Pop, they had those issues. One succeeded, the other did not. But that's not here nor there.
Right. And so I'll go ahead and stuff, because I worked in hotels. I was a bartender for over 15 years. Okay, so I didn't go into the whole thing completely blind, because I've been on the other end. And I remember stuff getting that banquet gratuity. And banquet gratuity was a lot. It's nice. When you worked, parties and stuff like that, because the gratuity, if it's in a really nice hotel, gets split among the people working the party.
Right.
So that 20-something% that's the service charge or the service fee actually got split among the people working it.
Okay.
Which jumps your paycheck really, really nice.
Yeah.
All right.
I can imagine so.
Right.
Because again, banquets and things like that in hotels, that's a lot of work and preparation. It's not just showing up and just doing your job. It's planning. It's making sure everything is in place. It's sanitation, because you're dealing with food. So I understand why like your Dragon Cons, your Momo Cons, and why their ticket prices are so sometimes astronomical, but it makes sense. And you're right about that hotel block thing. Like when I found that out, I was like, oh, I didn't know that's how it worked. I didn't know how the game was played. But now that I know that, I'm like, I kind of feel bad for doing Airbnbs and stuff for these hotels now. Now I'm like, I'm going to go back to the hotel scene just because I know it affects the con and their bottom line. So like, I don't mind like having to pay for the hotel for conventions anymore, and try to find a cheaper option because I know in the long run that helps the convention out with its longevity. And I'd rather have the con stay and grow and be strong than for me to find a cheap deal just so I can go up there and have some fun for a weekend. But I get that. That's understandable.
Well, actually, hold on.
Go ahead.
While we're mentioning that, we do have a hotel block at the DoubleTree. Okay. And what we've got set up and stuff is it's $130 a night. Okay, but $130 a night includes free parking and free breakfast. Okay, and it's not free breakfast for the person who registered the room. It's free breakfast for everybody that you say is staying in the room.
Okay.
All right, and this isn't a continental breakfast. This is an Americana breakfast. So there's meat, there's fruit. Okay, it isn't just some waffles and some cereal. Okay, we're talking about food.
Okay.
You know, you got your pork, you got your chicken, you got your beef. You know, but stuff I care about.
Right.
You know. All right. You know, I can get my scrambled eggs with some cheese. You know, of course we're in the South, so you're gonna have your grits and your oatmeal. Okay. So we're talking about full breakfast.
Right.
So if in our rooms you got a choice for this 1:30 at night, you can get 2 kings in the room or 2 queens in the room. So you figure out how many people you want to pack in there in the room.
Sardine cans. Trust me, I've done the
And
cons.
for every person that you say
that's
is in that room,
everybody get to eat.
everybody gets a free breakfast.
That's for 2 days. That's not bad. That is not bad.
You know, so we got it set up and stuff where you can basically get a room and stuff for that Friday, Saturday, or Sunday if you want.
Okay. Sounds like a good deal, actually.
Yes.
We'll talk about that later. But
and I will say that if we could fill up that room block, there's a chance that we can get more space to run more events there in the hotel. So, you know, I want to tell people stuff. You know you're coming, especially if you're going to be doing the cosplay ball. You know you want a room.
Right.
You want a room so you can have all your costumes in that room so you can change multiple times throughout the entire show, because we're going to have reasons for you to do it.
Right.
You got to have a costume for walking around. You got to have a costume for the fashion show. You got to have a costume for the contest, and you got to have one for the ball.
Right.
So you're going to want to be able to go in there and change and shower and make sure you're nice, fresh, and happy for everybody.
Right. Trust me, I've been to plenty of cons. You want to be able to go and quick change and rest and get out of that hot cosplay whenever you want to, and then just have a quick hop back. Trust me, this is key advice for doing any type of con running if you're a cosplayer. Let's talk about your vendors, because we have all these amazing comics in front of us, and I want to talk about a few of them, because some of these creators are going to be here.
Who are these people? I don't know who they are.
You know, come on. You got Marcus Williams, Greg Burnham, you have John Robinson, and so many other fantastic creators. Let's just pick one and just talk about what their comic is and when we can see them during the con.
Okay.
All right, Marcus Williams. Let's start here. Tuskegee Airs.
Okay. Well, first of all, the stuff, if you don't already know about the Tuskegee Airs book and Greg Burnham and Marcus Williams, shame on you.
Right.
Okay. These are 2 extremely talented gentlemen. They are the co-creators of Tuskegee Airs. And, you know, idea was actually Marcus's, I heard. But,
Really?
you know, I haven't got that completely confirmed. But he came up with the idea. So besides being, you know, a really great artist, you know, he's a pretty good idea man. All right. But like I said, you know, this book and stuff is selling like gangbusters. Of course, we're all waiting for, like, you know, issue 5.
Right.
You know, hopefully it comes out one day, because I sell the heck out of these. All right, but no, you've been following all these guys.
Yeah,
You talk about these things. You talk about the books.
Okay. Well, there's one I'm not as familiar with. I want to talk about this book. Let's talk about this book right here.
The creator of that book, he's crap.
No, he's not. He's a great creator.
Yeah, but see, if he was so great, he wouldn't have to depend on writing help from the great Robert Jeffrey. You know, but yeah, this is the Fox Chronicles. This is an idea in a book that I came up with, and I wrote it with Robert Jeffrey.
Okay.
And we're actually working on issue 2 right now, which kind of got delayed by the pandemic and me having to move the store. But, you know, we basically finished with issue 2, and we're going to be coming out with futuristic Atlanta. And it's got some awesome action and awesome artwork.
I'm going to buy this when I leave. So
You don't own a copy already?
No. No, we're in the middle of recording. We're gonna get it later.
Okay.
But like, come on. I've been waiting. Like Atlanta's such a great place for nerd stories. But anyway, moving on. So you was telling me about this book here, with this young lady, and the unfortunateness of her books. So I do want to kind of dive into that and just bring some light to the creator.
Okay. This was LaShawn Colvin, who was an awesome young lady. She actually had her own comic shop for a little while in Alabama. And she actually was at the first Urban Nerd Con. Well,
Okay.
the only Urban Nerd Con. All right. And she was awesome. She was an awesome host. She actually had like an after party, that Saturday night at her home, and invited a whole bunch of indie creators over there. And people just had a wonderful, wonderful time. Her book is gorgeous. It's well written. Unfortunately, she passed before the book even came out.
That is so unfortunate. But her book was picked up by a major, I don't want to say major publisher, but by a publisher, period.
Right.
And like you said, the book came out after she passed, and
so she didn't even get this chance to see her own stuff in print.
right. So I want to actually take this and bring it right here so everybody can get a good look at it. Check it out. Please support
Beautiful Soldiers.
Beautiful Soldiers. So with that said, outside of your book, outside of Tuskegee Airs, who's your favorite creator up here that we have displayed?
Oh, you trying to get me in trouble?
No.
I'm not answering that question.
Okay. All right.
Who's
All right.
my favorite creator? No.
All right. Okay. Fine. I won't do that. How would I do it then? All right. Let's talk about Harry.
Well, hold on. Well, just I will mention that Defiant, the story of Robert Smalls, is from Stranger Comics, and I'm kind of fond of this one because Sean Damian Hill is the artist for the book.
Okay.
All right, and his first published work was for me. So Sean, is special to my heart because I was the first one to be able to publish him. I was actually the first time he was published and stuff was also the first time that we published Robert Jeffrey.
Right.
And that's when we put that whole team together, which wound up being a team to work on Route 3.
Right. Okay. Cool. Who else?
So it's like I get like a whole bunch of, feeling and pride watching, how successful, Sean has become and how successful Robert has become.
I can only imagine
Robert is
that.
like writing books all over the place and writing for video games.
Right. That's so dope. Like,
So I always get to say like, oh, I knew him when.
Right. Of course. Because like, again, I've known you for a really long time and you have facilitated a bunch of Black creatives within this community. Like, it seems like everybody in the Blerd space comes through you especially if they're like a comic book creator, a writer, a manga, a writer, or artist, like they seem to come to you. What is it? Why do you think people come to you when it comes to getting their comics out there, outside of the fact you own a comic book shop?
I would say what's come through me is like, it's one of the things and stuff. I mean, Atlanta has a very creative community.
Oh,
I always
hands
say
down.
and stuff. It's like it's just not the hip hop artists,
Right.
There's a lot of creators here in the Atlanta area,
Right.
And I've been involved with Atlanta fandom since the late '80s, back when I was a staff photographer for the Atlanta Fantasy Fair. Okay, I remember stuff when Dragon Con just started, and it was basically a literary convention. It was literary and role playing.
Really? Okay, I didn't know that.
That's how Dragon Con started off. It was a literary convention.
Okay.
And it was basically started by a gaming group.
Huh.
And I think the story goes and stuff that all of them like pitched in like $500 or a piece or something to get the con started. But then again, you got to think $500 back in the 80s, the late 80s at least, was still a pretty good amount of money.
Right.
For them to get together, pool together, and grow the show. And it is what it is now. It is humongous. Like I said, it runs like the biggest, convention basically here in the city, and has the largest parade.
Right.
But like I said, it's kind of like outpriced itself for a lot of people. So with the Expo, we want to have a chance and stuff for people and stuff that, haven't had a chance, to experience a con, to be able to come and do something on a budget but still have good quality.
Right. What is the biggest takeaway you want people to? What is the biggest thing you want people to take away from your convention this year?
Like I said, I want people to come, support, and have a good time, and hopefully learn a lot. Because that's one of the major things and stuff about the show. Is like, we want to, help community. I want to expose, the works of different creators. I want them to be able to, to gather fans. I want people to be able to come and talk to these creators so they can find out how to get their own projects up and off the ground.
Right.
And, like, you don't have to, be a big, picked up by a big major company.
No, you don't. No, you definitely don't.
You can do the stuff yourself, whether or not you're a book author, a comic book creator, a content creator. You just got to get out there. And, with the expo, hopefully we're like giving people the knowledge on how to get it. Like, we're going to have, people here from the film industry. They're going to be like, okay, well, how do I get parts in movies? How do I get, to work on a crew for a movie? How can I be a voice actor? How do I get the contacts to do these things? There'll be people here, teaching all of those things. Right. They're like, oh, well, I want to be, an author. What are the steps? What do I need to do for world building? Right. Okay. All right. I want to get into cosplay. Okay. I've got a 3D printer and I want to get into cosplay, but I don't know how to make that sword. How do I make that sword? Right. There'll be people here and stuff that can teach you how to do all of those things. It's basically everyone coming together as a community and sharing their knowledge and how to do their crafts. That's pretty much what the expo is about.
I think that's really good. Now let me ask you this: since you're this is your show, this is your con.
No, it's not my con. It's everybody. Okay, I'm the person who has to sign the contracts and cut the checks.
That makes it your con, rightfully yours.
All right. But the con doesn't work without the community. Okay. Which is what I'm saying right now and stuff. It's like, hey, you guys can go to the website. We got spots for volunteers. We need help with basically everything. Even promoting the show. Yeah, and that's basically what I was about to ask you.
That's basically what I was about to ask you. What is the con's biggest needs? What does the con need to be successful? And you just said it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. We need people and stuff. Of course, since we're not doing an entry fee, we need the vendors to step up and, get their tables. And of course, not that phone call like a week before the show. It's like, hey, Tony, can you fit me in?
Right. There's the deadline. Valentine's Day is the deadline.
All right. We're like, okay, we've already got, 50, tables. It's like, well, can you squeeze one more in? It's like, and to be honest, I try my best to squeeze people in. Right. But it's, we need people and stuff to, like I said, be active. Right. I always tell people, be proactive instead of reactive. And so basically, what we need is we need the help of the community. We need to get the word out. We need people, more people to submit about the panels, more people submit for vending. When we get the information up this week for the ball, go ahead and stuff and, get your tickets to the ball. We got the ballroom, contracts are already signed. We're making everything affordable. We just need people, to step up. It's like, if you want the show, help with the show. Right. Because like I said, I'm not doing this to like put money in my pocket. Right. It's basically a community thing, and I'm doing it because the community came to me after some other events didn't fire, and they're like, hey, Tony, we missed the show. We made money at your show. Right. Can you do another show? Right. And I'm like, oh, no. It's, oh, please, Tony. So it's like, okay, I listened to you. I have started the process. Now I need you guys to step up and help me complete the process, because the show is only going to be as successful as the community wants it to be.
Now let me ask you this: since you brought up that little shade there, I caught on what you're doing.
That's not shade.
All right, but just realistically speaking, is your convention a black nerd convention, a blerd convention, or is this a convention for everybody in the nerd space?
It's for everybody in the nerd space. Okay. If you look at the photos of our previous shows, it's everybody.
Okay.
It is everybody. Now, by me saying that, okay, if you want to meet a lot of creators of African, Latino, and Asian descent, oh, we have them. Okay, they are coming out in droves.
Okay,
but this is a con for everybody.
Okay. And who are some of the keynote guests that some of the attendees can expect to see?
See, I don't want to post that stuff yet.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. I will say we've got an actress who's coming.
Cool. An actress is cool.
All right, and she has appeared in Marvel products.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay.
The speculation.
Okay. We've got comic book creators and artists who've worked for Marvel and DC,
Okay.
and are pretty well known.
Okay.
We've got art directors who are art directors for Wizards of the Coast, who put out Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering. And I'm sure people will want to know what art directors are looking for.
I have so many questions for that. I'm gonna save it for the con. I'm gonna save it for the con because there's something there that Wizards of the Coast does with their artwork for Magic the Gathering, and I'm like, oh my god, why do y'all do this? You need more diverse creators creating your artwork for your cards. But I'll save that for the convention. That's just a personal thing I have to grievance I need to address. But
follow our website. All right, the Atlanta Sci-fi and Fantasy Expo.com, and we will be slowly releasing who will be in attendance. So I got to make them go to the website. Okay. That way they can go ahead and register.
No, I know. All right. Since you said that, when will you start releasing guests, like official guests?
I actually have to check back with my staff about that.
Okay.
I'm not 100% in control of that part.
Okay.
But I would like to say that probably within the next week, things will start popping up.
Okay, within the next week. So I got to get this up tonight. This episode's coming up tonight. So
probably don't need to hurry that much. It's like, what's today? Monday?
Yes, Monday. But by
the weekend, you're good to go.
Yeah, but I want to get it out so everybody can just learn about the expo and get a good idea of what to expect. Again, the community has been literally knocking down your door, demanding, not asking, but demanding you bring back the con.
Not to do them to show up.
Right.
You wanted it, you got to support it.
Yes, that's what we have learned in 2024. Going into 2025, if you want it, you got to support it. None of that.
I have signed contracts. I put down deposits. I have done everything that I can do. I just need you guys to, help bring us on home.
Right. With that said, you're not going to pull the week of, see what had happened was type of situation with the con, are you?
No.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. I've gone through a couple of those,
but again, like I said, there are deadlines for certain things.
Right.
Like with the hotel, like I said, I'm wide open with everything. Let people know how it is. Okay, the con is March 15th or 16th. Mm-hmm. Okay, I have to pay the hotel all of their money on February 28th.
Because they want every dime up front before it's even time. I got you.
Yeah, all that stuff has to be paid up front.
How many blocks of rooms do you need to sell, and how many have you already sold to reach your goal with the hotel?
Well, like I said, they've just set aside 60 rooms for us.
Okay.
They've got 30 double kings and 30 double kings.
Okay.
All right, but the main thing and stuff, that we want people to, know and stuff. Besides that, man, that ball, that thing's expensive.
I can imagine.
So as soon as we get the links up for the ball, especially at the good price we're going to do it, we're going to need people and stuff to go ahead and get some of those, those tickets for the ball.
Okay.
And for vendors, I need you guys to go ahead and put in your applications. Like I said, we're just doing $125 for a table for both days. Mm-hmm. Plus, we're giving you entry into the ball. So, we're hooking people up. Okay. So we're not asking for a lot of money. We just need everybody to give us that money soon.
Right.
It's like, If we wait till like March 7th, it's like, nah, that's too late.
Yeah, way too late. Way too
It's
late.
way too late.
I got you. So what is there something that you want to see at your con, that you haven't seen someone come up and present to you? Like, is there a particular panel or a particular guest or a particular vendor or even cosplay event you want to happen at your con that nobody's said anything about, that you kind of want to, like, I wish this could happen, but no one's had any interest in it?
Nah. I had to like steal something from from Robert Jeffrey. He always brings up the people and stuff that do the dance competition to save the community center. So it's like I'd be interested to see somebody come up with a dance competition.
Okay.
Like I said, hey, we got the ballroom.
Okay.
That could be something that could be cool.
Dance competition. Yeah, I think that's something.
People in costume do a choreographed dance. That would be awesome.
A cosplay flash mob? That would be dope. That would be dope.
And this mall's got plenty of room for it.
Yeah, because it's empty. But yeah.
Except for Challenges Games and Comics.
You the popping this spot in the mall.
Challengesgames.com.
You the popping this spot in this mall, I guarantee it. But no, that would be dope. Like, and there's so much to choose from. Like, come on, NSYNC and all the Deadpool and Wolverine cosplayers just doing bye. It's right there. It's right there on the table. I would just love to see that, just personally for me.
And you always want to video it.
Guilty. We'll talk about that. But yeah, I'm gonna have my camera. I will shoot. I'm gonna find some kind of content.
Yeah. Like, to come to think of it, I didn't think about it, but yeah, to actually see somebody, doing choreographed dance in costume.
That would be dope.
That would be awesome.
That would be dope. And like I said, it's so much to choose from. It is so much to choose from. Personally, what I want to see from your con is a repeat. I want to see 2026 MallCon. I want the community to come in. I want the community to show out and show the support and show the love. And I want you to immediately, the day after the 17th of March, to start planning next year's con. That's what I want.
That would be nice.
That would be nice.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, that would be nice. But anyway, this has been Blerdkast, everybody. Please go to the website, check out the con, come to Challenges Games and Comics. He's always here every day. He does not take days off unless
I got 2 days off this week.
But God
Friday
said you needed a break, and he made Atlanta white for 2 days. We're talking about the snow again. I had a bad experience. I don't want to do that. But I'm happy you had those 2 days off. Because you may not, you might get it again this weekend, depending on what God want to do.
Well, like I said, it gave me a chance to catch up and watch some more anime. Because it's like, man, with this shop, I have to, I thought I was an anime fan.
No.
And my customers remind me that I'm not.
No.
And there's so much stuff out there I need to watch to keep up with them. And they're like, you don't have Crunchyroll? It's like, well, I got Netflix and Hulu.
That's not enough.
You don't have Crunchyroll?
Right. Right. You're not
really feel bad. You don't have Crunchyroll? You're like, okay.
So what did you watch on your 2 days off then?
I started catching up and stuff and watching some Gundam.
Okay.
But of course, we have the humongous Gundam section over there.
Right.
So I got to keep up with what's going on with the Gundams. And I actually enjoyed watching Dr. Stone.
Okay.
I knocked out, was it 20-some episodes this season of Dr. Stone? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I knocked out 20-some episodes in 2 days. Man, okay.
Okay. I can't get through 10 episodes or something without I need to switch it up. I can't just binge like how I used to. Have you started watching Dan to Dan?
Oh yeah, that was easy though. It was one episode a week, and it was only 8 episodes.
Yeah, and then as soon as it comes on, it's over with. Yeah.
Yeah, those are quickies.
Okay. All right. Look, this will be the last question. Since you are a con runner, this is your show. You sign the checks. And you are very prominent.
Not my show. It's a community show.
Okay. Your name is on it.
Somebody has to sign the check.
Your name is on it. But you go to other conventions. You go support RSP. You've gone and supported MomoCon and DragonCon and AWA.
Oh, yeah. And I've been at New York Comic Con.
Right.
I've been a panelist at San Diego Comic Con.
Right.
I've done, East Coast, West Coast.
Gotcha. So you do the thing I want to do, like just travel to cons and just make money at conventions and make a living off of that. But that's not here.
Work, dude.
Oh my God. But
one of the reasons that I own a store, I started off, me and my buddy Tim, we started off going to just comic conventions and lugging those big long boxes around to convention to convention. Right. And I realized and stuff, it's like, if you got a shop, people just come to you and you don't have to travel.
Build it and they shall come.
So that's why it's like, okay, I have the shop, and again, the shop could be like a mini community. I could hold like 100 people in here.
Yeah.
So
I've seen it.
We've had like Magic pre-releases, Yu-Gi-Oh pre-releases, people playing Warhammer and D&D all simultaneously at the same time. And like I said, we're about to expand even more. We're about to bring in and put a content studio here in the shop. And we're going to be setting up sound whisper rooms.
This is going to be a popping spot. Once because we talked about the very back of the shop before and your plans for it. Once all that's set in place, you won't be able to kick people out of here.
Well, hopefully all that stuff will be set up in time for the Expo, so we can actually use all of the space we have here for the Expo. Right. Plus what's available in the mall.
Right. Okay. This has been really great. Thank you again for coming on. This is really mutual. We both wanted to just talk about and be nerds. But that's what I want to ask you. So you do all the con stuff. What is your favorite local con in Atlanta, and what is your favorite con, period? That's not your own.
So you're gonna get me in trouble again, okay? About having to point out stuff like that, okay? As a vendor and as a person and stuff that has hung out at cons and stuff with his grandkids, I would have to say MomoCon.
Ooh, okay.
Because they're big anime fans, right? So like I said, I'm trying to catch up with that. They're the ones that made me watch scenes of the episodes of One Piece. I looked at One Piece when they were showing it. I'm like, and saw the dude stretching in his voice, and I was like, this is silly. I'm not gonna watch this, And we were at MomoCon, and my grandkids kept talking about how great it was, and then a whole bunch of other adults started talking about how great it was. So I literally sat down and watched every episode that's on Netflix that's in English. Because part of the thing is and stuff is like, I have no problem with subs. I was doing subs back in the 80s before y'all were born. So I don't want no judgment. Okay. I have no problem with subs, but you can't do subs when you're tired.
No, you can't.
And I'm sorry, I don't have the brain width right now to learn Japanese.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's like, I like to be able to late at night and stuff when I'm watching something, if I want to put my head back and close my eyes. Right. I want to be able to do that. Right. And you can't do that with subs.
You can't.
Then it's like, for me and stuff, it's like, I'm sitting there reading. I have no problem reading, I can brag, I was reading on the college level in elementary school. But, the thing is...
That's a good brag, by the way.
Yeah. All right, the thing is that you miss some of the fights.
Exactly.
You miss some of the fights when you're reading the subs.
My thing is, I grew up in the Dragon Ball Z Naruto era of subs and dubs, and don't get me wrong, I love watching the original, how you're supposed to watch it Japanese. I've been studying Japanese, but you are right. I gotta read and go back and replay, or just watch the whole episode and read everything first, and then go back and rewatch the same episode and just watch it for what it is, knowing the dialogue in my head and just kind of playing it out. But I kid you not, Naruto ruined doing subs for me, because it was it's so much dialogue, it's so much talk no jutsu, it's so much action, and you can't focus on one or the other. Now don't get me wrong, Blerdography, I said my name wrong. Blerdography promotes you watch anime the way that you want to watch anime. There's no wrong way to watch anime. Sub, dub, blindfolded, with your ears closed, don't matter. But I have some opinions about it, and opinions should just be allowed to be opinions. You shouldn't have to go after people for watching content in the way that they want to watch and consume content. But I agree with you. I 100% agree with you.
And like I said, I own this store. Like I said, I've been into sci-fi, fantasy, and horror since the 70s. And, my customers constantly remind me that no, you are not a big nerd. Okay, you cannot hold our shirt tails. You know, I thought I was a Godzilla fan. It's like, no. Compared to my customers, I know nothing about Godzilla, even though I've seen all of.
Wow. Okay.
They know more about this than I do, and my specialty and stuff is like, oh, well, I started off playing chess and reading comics when I was 9. So basically, I've been like in the comics for like 50 years, and I still get customers that come in and stuff. Luckily, it's like the old farts like me, that know a little bit more about the comics than I did. You know,
it's fun. It's funny that you said that because you can never be a master at your own craft, and even in nerddom, because I say this all the time, especially when I'm in a photo shoot and I call a cosplayer the wrong cosplayer. I'm like, but you don't understand, like, how many of y'all I see. But like,
I am master of none.
Right, you are master of nothing in any craft or whatever. And because you know me, we've known each other for a while. I'm big into Power Rangers. Every time I go to Ranger Stop and Pop or MomoCon or Dragon Con, I am thoroughly corrected in my knowledge and what I thought I knew about Power Rangers. TikTok I swear to God, I'm gonna fight people on TikTok. That's another story for another day. But
that's the cool thing about it though. Like, all right, I'm old.
Right.
So when Power Rangers was hot, I was already a grown man.
Right.
Okay, my daughters, all right, who are basically the same age and stuff as the actors and actresses on the show, all right, are humongous Power Rangers fans. And they're like, you know, oh, Dad, I went to, convention and stuff, and I got, my book autographed. And I'm like, oh, wow, that was pretty cool. You're like, yeah, it only cost me blank amount of money. And I'm just like,
I know what blank is.
And of course my whole thing is like, I know who this person is.
Yeah. Ooh, I know what you're talking about already.
And I'm just like, you're not gonna get that for free right now. It's like,
I know exactly what you're talking
your
about.
claim to fame isn't that your dad knows the Power Rangers, it's that your dad is known by the Power Rangers. And because I was like, my thing is like when Power Rangers was out, I was like, this doesn't even look as cool as Ultraman. And I'm talking about the 70s Ultraman. What? Hayata becomes Ultraman. Okay.
Yes.
So, I was watching that clips like that and being all nerdy as a kid, looking at it and it's like, is he fighting Godzilla? Why is that crown around Godzilla's neck? He's fighting Godzilla and jumping up and down because Ultraman is fighting Godzilla. And I recognize that that's Godzilla's suit, And, I was like, okay, I'm such an old nerd. I was watching Astro Boy in black and white on a black and white TV.
I'm sorry.
Hey, I enjoyed it.
But that's when nerddom was created. Well, yeah, that's when nerddom was created. Literally
like,
Astro Boy on black and white TV.
Back when in the 80s when I was in high school, we didn't even know we were watching anime. We get home and, there was this show on after school called Star Blazers. And it was the #1 topic in homeroom the next day when this was coming out. Okay, we didn't know we were watching anime.
Right.
We didn't know Robotech was anime. We just thought they were cool cartoons.
Right.
It wasn't until later on and stuff that, I actually, by getting involved with, the fan community, that I got to see stuff. It's like, we were watching stuff like Battle of the Planets. And I'm like, oh, Battle of the Planets and stuff, that's been pretty cool. And then I went to my, a convention and they had an anime room and they're like, oh man, we're gonna go watch Gatchaman. It's like, what's Gatchaman? And then I go in there and I'm like, oh, it's Battle of the Planets. And then all of a sudden I see them killing people and cutting people's throats and blood coming out. And I'm like, oh.
Right.
And this anime is a little different.
Right. Let me ask you this. This will be the last question. I know I keep saying that, but like you're like a jewel that keeps on giving.
Did you just call me old? I think you just called me old.
I did not call you for a while. You've been able to see the transition of like nerd culture and especially within the Blerd community. You've been able to see.
Oh, I remember being at Dragon Con and stuff where I could count the number of black people on my hand. Okay.
Right.
And now the fact that I see thousands of us.
Right.
Is like amazing.
Right. But what I want to get at is like in your lifetime, since you've seen the transition, and because again, like you from before it was not cool to be black and nerdy, you from the dark eras of nerd culture. because my dad has told me stories. My dad's known you for a while too. I might remember if you've seen him, but y'all came from a place that is not the same place now. The world that you grew up in and the world that the younger Gen Z and Gen Alpha get to be in is completely different, especially with nerd culture and nerd topics. What has that transition been like just personally for you?
Oh, like I said, it's just amazing. And to me, it's to think that, I've actually been making a living for like 30 years, basically, supporting nerddom. It's just great. When I was in high school, we had like our little clique, back in the 80s, early 80s. Okay. All right. We thought we were nerds because we all were on the chess team and we all collected comic books.
Right.
All right. Then we actually went to a chess tournament and we beat Parkview in a chess match. All right. And the guys came over afterwards like, hey guys, that was a really great game. What? It was really fun meeting you guys and stuff. And then one of them was like, do you guys play Dungeons and Dragons? And we're like hood kids, what's Dungeons and Dragons? And then they started explaining it. And it's like, if you guys come over to my house and stuff, we'll teach you how to play. And we looked at our, director and he's like, yeah, I can make the time and stuff to take you guys over and stuff because he's like our chess coach.
Right. And
we learned how to play Dungeons and Dragons and we started realizing there was a whole part of nerdom that we weren't exposed to. And actually, one of my buddies, Daryl Shealy, he was with me on the chess team and he collected comic books, and he's still one of my customers here. And, he goes to Dragon Con like every year. And now he gets to go like to Dragon Con every year with like his grown daughter. And, he's just living a life. Because like I said, we didn't know what we didn't know.
Right.
And like I said, now just to see, all the stuff that's going on and how everything has grown, it's fantastic.
Okay. I can dig that. It is fantastic. Like, I love being a nerd. It's like, I swear to God, it's the only thing I care about. And I do want to say something. Like, how lucrative is it being a career nerd? Is it a lucrative career or is it just... Because, from my perspective...
Did I say earlier, I've never owned a pair of Jordans. I'm driving a 1996 Toyota Tacoma truck. Okay. That gives you an idea how lucrative it is.
I know, but again, from my perspective, you own a comic book shop. You are up there on the pedestal of echelon of not only nerds, but like black nerds. People know who you are. People come to you for so much knowledge and wisdom and advice. And it's just like, I don't want to say like king of the nerds, but like you're living a dream that I, as a kid, because I remember seeing you when I was in high school and stuff like, oh, I can't wait to own a comic book business. That must be the best thing ever. And you can't wait to get to work every day. And you're just so happy. And then I realized, oh, you run a comic book business in Atlanta. And yeah, I get it. It's
like I said, it's, I'll be honest with everybody. I carry comics because I love comics.
Right. If you didn't love this, you wouldn't do this.
Well, I wouldn't carry comics.
Right.
Okay. Because comics are one of those things and stuff that you have to order new copies, issues every single week, whether or not you sold the ones the week before.
Right.
Okay. And then once a comic kind of like sits on the shelf for a while, it's like gone.
Right.
And, like a regular bookstore, if a book doesn't sell, they send it back to the distributors. The way the market is created now for comics, anything I buy, I own it. So you can lose a lot of money,
right?
Doing comic books.
Right.
There's a lot more stuff in this store that makes a lot more money than comics. Strangely enough, paints for miniatures make a lot more money for me than comic books did.
Okay.
But I love comic books. They were like, besides playing chess, they were my introduction into nerdom.
Okay.
It was my, escapism.
Okay.
I was able to like get into the characters especially like, reading the Marvel comics, because then it was like, those comics were they're about the characters. They're about the people who were the characters. Whereas like, to me, DC was about these powerful beings and the characters were separate. But when you're reading stuff like, Spider-Man or, the Fantastic Four, those stories are like really getting into like what's going on with the family. The action is almost like a secondary thing.
Right.
What's trials and tribulations is Peter going through.
Right. Agreed.
What kind of family issues are they having over there and, Richard's family, and Storm family, But then luckily for me and stuff, some of my favorite creators like Marv Wolfman and George Perez, crossed over and started doing the new Teen Titans, over there at DC Comics. And then all of a sudden I realized that I started reading a whole bunch more DC Comics because they started to get it,
Right.
It was, about, the characters.
Okay.
Which is what I like about, a lot of these things by the independent creators. To me, comics, it's storytelling. And to me, the root of storytelling is to teach somebody something or inform somebody about something. And a lot of these creators, and I will point out somebody that I really do like, Greg Burnham. Okay, Greg tells some really good stories.
He does.
Okay, and they're stories with a purpose.
Right.
And to me, that's what good storytelling is. You go back to, the fables, the folklores. They're all about teaching you something.
Right.
Whatever religious book you pick up, they're all about teaching you something. All right. There's something in there about, survival, how to act,
right,
how to be a decent person. All of these things are in the books, and that's what the books should be about. So when you read a book, hopefully you get something out of it, or it makes you think about something, or it helps to shape a viewpoint. That's why I used to trip out and stuff, when I see like stupid posts on social media. It's like, I don't like my Star Trek woke. I'm like,
then what? You don't understand what Star Trek was from the beginning.
Yes! It's like you can't get more woke than Star Trek.
Right.
Especially for a 1960s program.
Right.
But like I said, a lot of people's stuff is over their heads.
Right. Poor Star Trek Discovery, by the way. Sorry, I just had to bring that up since you said that, like, them getting canceled. Whatever. Star Trek is pretty woke. If you're a Star Trek fan and you don't like it woke, it's you don't understand the concept of your own fandom.
All right, now to be fair though, I have watched all the Star Treks. I watched the original series, and then I watched the animated series. I watched all of them. Okay, and I'll just point out there to my best, as far as me, the one Star Trek that has had an awesome first season was Strange New Worlds. Every other Star Trek series, to me, started off kind of slow.
But that's like the Star Trek trope, because every season has to find itself. Discovery did it, Voyager did it, Deep Space Nine did it, TNG did it.
But to me, Strange New Worlds didn't. But then again, some people say I'm incorrect because the second season of Discovery could be considered the first season of Strange New Worlds.
That's true too, because of how they were in tandem. That's a whole nother podcast episode where we just nerd out to just
I'm here.
Pop culture stuff.
I can talk Star Trek.
Okay.
The local Star Trek fan club has their Christmas parties here, right?
No, there's a local Star Trek fan club?
There's at least a couple.
Okay.
There's the USS Republic and the USS Terminus.
Okay. I got to find some time from work.
They'll be doing panels here at the Expo.
Okay.
So, we can definitely get you introduced to them.
Yeah, because I grew up watching Star Wars. I never thought I would be into Star Trek. Like, it's boring. They're just flying around on spaceships. They ain't got laser swords. And then I realized the nuance.
See, we're going to talk about how I feel about Star Wars.
That's another podcast episode.
Okay, as a kid and stuff, who actually went and saw the original movies in the 70s when they came out. The first three movies, love them. The movies after that,
I can concur.
To me, my favorite of the new Star Treks is Rogue One.
Star Wars. You said Star Trek.
Oh yeah, I made a mistake.
Okay,
yeah,
no, that's cool. But no, I agree with you. Rogue One is probably the best.
Rogue One is awesome.
And outside of Mandalorian, the only thing Disney has done right with the franchise of Star Wars is Rogue One and that. Because everything else, I've been like, what are y'all doing? Why is this happening?
I'm still up in the air about which one of the TV shows is my favorite. But as far as the movies are concerned,
Rogue One was a really good one.
Yeah, the original three.
Force, and the Force is with me.
What is it? 4, 5, and 6, and Rogue One.
Right.
Awesome.
Right. Everything else is pick and take. But thank you so much for having me on. I cannot wait to see the Atlanta Science Fiction Expo right here. I'm going to just display it. All right. But this
Atlanta Sci-fi Expo.com.
Yeah, I know. Atlanta Sci-fi Expo.com. Go ahead and check it out. If you have your, like you said,
submit for those panels, submit for those vendor tables.
You have until Valentine's Day. You got to come up and support the community. But for everybody else, this has been Blerdkast. You can check out Blerdkast everywhere you listen to your podcast, everywhere on social media, everywhere online, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Spotify, Apple Music, and more. And you can always watch Blerdography on YouTube, www.youtube.com, Blerdography. Check me out. Peace.